welcome to all of you, and welcome to the dragon. My name is Marie-Pierre Dillenseger. I'm a specialist of Chinese assessment techniques as related to time and space. I've been in practice for over 25 years. But this year, it's the first time that my annual lecture of the Chinese New Year will be available to all for free, in French and in English, by the way. I'm also an author, and I love sharing as much as I can in the time that I have besides consultation, the insights that have been gathered over the years, which I also share in my book, about what could be extracted from the reading of time. In our time together, I will first make a quick introduction on the way China has been looking at time. I will then go to describing the characteristic of the dragon and will explain, share with you that we cannot just stay on the surface because the dragon is just a metaphor. So what's hidden behind this? Where is it coming from? What can we use to make it useful insight for our daily life or for the decision we have to take? Contrary to previous year, we are also entering a new 20-year period, 2024, 2044. I will also spend some time to give you the inside, an insider view of what this means. I will then take some time to give information about how the dragon affects all of us depending on the animal of our year of birth. You probably will have a lot of questions. Use the comments below. I answer those questions on a regular basis in my monthly video. If too many of the questions are the same, I will probably do a follow-up video addressing specifically those questions. And now, let's get to it. So let's first look at the way we look at time versus the way all China has been looking at time. For us Westerners, every new year is a new year. We just change a digit. 2024 follows 2023, will be before 2025, but we have no way to foresee the quality of the year. No? We are scientific, we rely heavily on our left brain, and we have lost in some way the ability to look at time as a force. In French, we say to be au bon endroit au bon moment, to be at the right time at the right place, but short of using luck and or throwing a dart, we don't really spend a lot of time identifying why this month will be better than another to do such and such a thing. When we're ready, we think we're ready. And we overly use force, willpower, we are strong, we know what we want, and we dismiss the possibility that time could be wind in our sail, or to the contrary, facing us, slowing us down. Our view of time as Westerners is linear. It started a long time ago. It will deploy itself forever. In the Chinese way to look at time, time is cyclical. The same year, this year the wooden dragon, comes back every 60 years. This doesn't mean that every 60 years the same event will take place. Think about time as wind, as energy around us. But what it means is that after 60 years, supposedly, we should have gathered enough information, experience, memories, insight to be able to welcome a new cycle with open eyes, with information that has been gathered. The 60 years birthday is one of the most important birthdays to celebrate in China because at that time the person has arrived at some sort of wisdom. It's not 7 years old, l'âge de la sagesse, as my French fellow citizen would say. It's 60 years. Time is cyclical. Time is also a carrier of energy. That energy interacts with who we are. So if I can't invest in understanding which kind of energy will come every year, it is a little bit like if you have a friend or a cousin or someone staying at your house for a year, 12 months is a long time, you better get your act together, some information to know whom you're going to have to deal with. Yeah. That idea that time is not neutral, usually we don't have it. Third, time is a force. The more I can align myself with that wind, the more I will be powerful in what I'm trying to do. But I want to warn you, I've said that many times, good timing does not replace competence. Good timing is an additional momentum for a competent person. So this is not about a magical way to look at the world. This is, to the contrary, very strategic. Knowing the quality of the time gives you an advantage because you will know when to move forward and when to stay put. Why do we have a 60-year cycle? I will be technical for just 2 minutes. You might have heard about the 5 Chinese elements and the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. 5 times 12 is 60. So to make it simple, that reading of time is based on a very different look at the world. The 5-element theory, just 1 minute, says that everything, every person, every object, every year is the result of a certain combination of 5 main forces. Wood energy is the metaphor for growth. Fire energy, among many, fire energy is the metaphor for visibility and expansion. Earth energy is the metaphor of something that is stable, that is strong, accumulation. Like the metaphor would be also the mountain, stability. Metal energy is the metaphor of something that separates, that cuts. It is associated with justice. It is associated with weapon. It is also associated with a mind that can distinguish what has worth and what hasn't. And the last one, the water energy, is an energy that represents flowing, communication, network, flow, movement, movement of goods, for example, movement of words, the ability to spread information and communicate. And it's also the water, literally, it has to do with what is flowing. This is not a course. My intent here is just to tell you that there are centuries of observation, modelization, testing behind those reading, and we cannot reduce it as some simple metaphor. Now let's go to describing the dragon. There are 5 possible dragons. This year we have the wooden dragon. The dragon itself is a metaphor covering up more metaphor. Bear with me. The dragon is considered an earth animal. It has 4 legs, it is powerful, it takes some space. Like the goat, the dog, and the ox, those 4 animals are associated with transition between seasons. The dragon month is always the month of April. And this is because behind the metaphor of the dragon, there is another metaphor, which is that of earth. When I say earth, think about a mountain, an energy that is solid, an energy that is rooted in the real world. The dragon is pragmatic, although it also has wings. We'll talk about that later. But it's a steady, powerful animal. Compare it to a mountain. It's not just earth. There are also 2 other elements hidden in the dragon. So earth, stable, solid, a mountain. The dragon contains also wood energy and water energy. So imagine your mountain with seeds in it, with roots, with rich living energy. And below all this, you have water. So water table, water, underground water flowing. We have the metaphor, the image of a fertile land. It's a mountain, it's not flat. Okay? But inside that energy, we have seeds, we have force of growth. The wood is associated with growth, renewal, new idea, new way to do things. And water, it's an irrigated soil. It's not a dry soil. This is considered, and I usually do not want to go into binary ways of favorable or unfavorable, but this is considered favorable. Steady, solid earth energy. One can say that anything related to earth, to the damages we've done to our planet Earth, anything that has to do with taking care of those problems, finding new solution, or pushing finally for solution that we know are needed, the dragon will push for that. In France, recently, farmers have risen up, have taken to the street. The question of the damages and our responsibility to take care of our planet Earth and also of those who are nourishing us, who are producing for us, is part of theme. The word is not even the right one, is part of thread this year. Earth is also associated with a force of inertia because a mountain doesn't move as much or as fast as a river. So one could extract two things here. The problems that we have are here to stay. The idea that because this is a new year, magically problems will disappear is not being conveyed by 2024. Problems are here to stay as a call for us to finally take them seriously. Because in the dragon we have wood, which is also the metaphor of hope, of benevolence, of the ability to create, to innovate. One could say that 2024 is a year that will bring forward solutions that we've not seen yet, or solutions that we've not believed in yet, and the energy to spread, the energy to communicate. Remember, water energy, it's under the surface. So one could say that this is a year where good news, when they're taken seriously and when they have room to be said, will be heard. But the communication, is not, water is not on the surface. That means that we can anticipate more like circles who have the information versus circles that continue to either not see, not believe, and certainly not toil, not labor to bring forward new way to do things. This is a new mountain, fertile, ready to serve us. We're going to have choice to make. Either we welcome that energy that brings renewal, or we dismiss it. My suggestion is not to dismiss it, especially that this is the wooden dragon. So not only do we have roots and seeds, we also have wood on the surface. So it's not just a barren mountain. It would be the image, a mountain that has crops on it or a forest on it, which means, and we've been waiting for this the last 3 years since 2000, this means that the energy of growth is about to burst. It is a right time to see the results of your efforts, assuming you've been making them, assuming you've been you've made yourself available to be part of solution, and you've gotten into active mode of designing next steps, your own next step, of also you've been able to get out of a situation of sideration, of disbelief, and of fear. Those of you who are the carrier of new, not just ideas at this point, but new way to solve problems that we've refused to see, this is your year. You have to be steady. You can't just make up something and show up. This is a year that will favor the competent, I would say hardworking people who've not been waiting for a state of emergency to look for solution. The fact that the dragon is an animal that supposedly doesn't exist is very interesting. We may be up for some surprise because the dragon in the story is there, but we think it's there. We don't believe it exists, but it actually will show up. The element of surprise, not just bad surprise, the element of surprise, the element of finally realizing that us, human, as a collectivity, as groups, have the capability to get us out of the mess we've been creating at many levels is part of the year. Not everything will be solved in 2024, but it is important that you get out of a mode where you now believe that anything will lead us to extinction or the worst scenario. The wooden dragon is pushing for the return of some healthy hope, healthy trust. And that's also advice carried by the dragon not to be as naive as you've been previously. In time of changes, it may not pay to be upfront about what you see that other ones don't see yet. Keep in your sleeves an element of surprise, even in your own way to do things. This may not be the best year to do, to be transparent all the time. It is a wooden dragon. There's another metaphor associated with wood, which is kindness. You've probably seen on the Chinese roof, at the corner of the roof, those those wooden carved dragon. They look strong and ferocious, but they're in wood. Are they that scary? We may not see them as scary as if there would be metal dragon or fire dragon. There would be fire dragon. They may actually set the house on fire. So what I'm trying to say here is that the core energy of the year is solid earth, but it's a benevolent earth, which means that there is a window of time that is inviting people with a good heart, people with good intention, people who are thinking beyond their own needs, people whom we would not define as predators to others. There's a window of time for those to come out. Society in general, and you may think this is just a private opinion, society in general is tired of predatory practices, of the current lack of kindness and the division that we have. This year doesn't align itself with division, and earth energy also has to do with collective energy. So this is a year that will favor collective action, working together, listening to each other, creating alliance with each other. One could say that after the set of 4 years that we've just going through, the first year that aims at calming things down and at, you know, I'm on an old generation where I don't have an automatic car, where when you change gears, suddenly you see the engine responding. This is a year where the engine feeds not only on money, but also on kindness. One could say that this year is trying to bring some values in this regard back to the plate. The dragon is scary for some. It never scares the kids. It never scares creative people. It never scares people who don't have anything to hide. This is a warning that kindness and competence and a good heart has a chance to win or to compete in a situation that we may consider doomed, where only willpower and self-interest is now winning. The dragon will know where to show up in order to give an extra push for those who have a good heart. And I think it's good to hear this, and I'm not trying to reassure you, because with no competence this year, with no stamina, and with no vision to actually participate in the solution we need, society will not move much. But the dragon will know whom to help. And that's also why in my monthly video I've been advising to regain availability for possible good news. A lot of people have lost that trust in good news. This is not a year to be over-pessimistic. I said earlier that I would also talk about the change of period, 2024-2044. What the dragon doesn't carry, the wooden dragon, is fire energy. And last year, 2023, the last few years, we've been missing fire energy. But what the dragon hasn't got is being given, is being brought by the new time period. I'll explain later those bigger cycles. What's important to know right now is that what is coming is a cycle of 20 years associated with fire energy. Fire is the metaphor of light, of visibility. But there is no light without shadows. So one could say that the period, but already in 2024, will allow you to see what we haven't seen yet, what we don't want to see, what we're trying not to see. But among this will be solutions that we've not yet seen. The fire energy is useful to bring to the surface solutions, way of doing things, new way to deal with massive problems in a way that we've not yet anticipated. And the reason those past few years have been difficult is that we've gradually been able to understand that we really have problems, economical problems, climate problems, political problems, society problems, but it looked like solutions were like mirage. They were going away. My take is that unless we had been confronted with the problem really on our nose, we cannot fully grasp the gift that the new period is bringing to us. Fire energy is also the metaphor of energy. So yes, these 20 years will be centered, will be focused on the question of energy. Heating energy, feeding energy. So what I could say is that not only will we be able to see solutions that are growing, a lot of powerful and industrious minds. I've been working at solution. This is the time where they will emerge. That's really good. But fire is also the metaphor of fire. What could say that we have now a choice to make? The time period is as much associated with solution and finding solution and elevating our way to look at things, because fire has also a connection with spirituality, with vision. But it's also a time that is risky, because basically, if I say it simple, we have the opportunity either to explode the planet and destroy all what we've built, or to wisen up, to see better what we refuse to see, including ourselves and our way to behave, our way to use up resources, and our way to communicate with our neighbors. Life is not written. What those cycles say is that the time is right now to face reality and to be responsible enough, and the wooden dragon is ready to help us to tackle them. Why is this cycle, why do we have this cycle of fire? In a very short way to say, I talked earlier about the 60-year cycle, but there are actually other cycles, smaller cycle, bigger cycle. The big cycle that has been defined for centuries, I would say we could discuss, is it 3,000, is it a little bit more actually? There is a bigger cycle of 180 years divided, bear with me, in 9 periods of 20 years. Each period is associated with an element, which means like each 20 years, the energy of time has us focus on some problems more than others. 2004 till 2024 was an Earth period. And this is in that period that we realize that Earth may not be able to sustain our hubris, that Earth cannot take it anymore. Yeah. The last of the 9 periods of 20 years is always the fire period. So if we want to compare where we are now with a previous year, we should go to 180 years before, which is 1844. 1844 was also the beginning of a 20-year fire period. Let's stay here. It is not surprising to see in the Chinese way that the last period of the big cycle finishes with fire. It's basically the moment for us to take responsibility for all what we've done, not done, achieved, not achieved over this long cycle, and use our bright mind, our eyes, to raise above what is just material, what is just materialistic, predatory way and selfish way to do. The last period always calls for people to rise above. There's an element of spirituality that we can consider also, but it is an incentive to use our mind, our heart, to address collectively the issues that have now come to the surface. So I do not believe that this is a time where we will explode the planet. I believe that we have a choice to make, and that choice, it's not a choice of our leaders only. It's actually a choice of each of us, for each of us. What can we do in our daily life and in our professional practice to be more aligned with our core values and more participating in this change, this societal change that is coming. I don't have the answer. I can just tell you that this is a time to wisen up and to be courageous enough to fight for the solutions, including defending our Earth. Let's say a few words about the special relationship that the dragon has with some of his fellow animals. The dragon gets on pretty well with the tiger and the rabbit, because those three metaphors, those three animals, all contain the wood element. Wood, remember, is associated with growth, renewal, imagination, innovation, creation, kindness. This means that on a dragon year, rabbits, I don't like to say rabbits, people born the year of the rabbit. By the way, you could also have the rabbit as your birth month or day, animal of the day or animal of the hour. But if you are connected with the rabbit or with the tiger, a dragon year gives you additional strength. It validates, it pushes forward, it nourishes your ability to create, to, in some way, to verbalize, and to push forward your own project. There is another special relationship between the dragon and the rat and the monkey. And this is because those three animals all are in affinity, they all carry the water energy. Water energy has to do with communication, with network, with bringing, ideas to life. So, with some differences. The monkey and the dragon. The monkey has emerging water energy. So in the presence of a dragon, you feel stronger. You may dare to say what in a meeting you tend to keep to yourself. It pushes you forward. The rat, it's very powerful, moving energy. It's a little bit different. The dragon might temper, calm down your ability to have a temper. So this is good collaboration. It will allow you to maybe think twice before voicing your opinion. These are very good collaboration. The other animal that is in line this year, it's the rooster. The rooster, it's all metal energy, martial energy, the ability to decide, the ability to be clear, the ability to separate what's right from what's wrong. It's also some the energy of the warrior, the general. When these two meet, because they are so different, the dragon being more associated with peace, with cultivating the mountain, and the rooster being more associated with moving his ideas forward, one could say there is a collaboration that calms the rooster and boosts the dragon. It's very good, it's a very good news to know that this year the full metal energy is slowed down. I will not go to voicing an opinion in terms of war, but you've already understood that this is not a year that pushes forward to more conflict. We will have more conflict if human, if those who make the decision do not gain wisdom from the dragon year. There's another animal that gets on particularly well with the dragon. It's the dog. They're both earth animal. What makes the relationship special is that they each have what the other one hasn't got. In the dog, you have metal and fire energy. That could be explosive. In the dragon, remember, we have wood and water energy. That could be a little bit too kind. So when they're together, we have the full range of motions and possibility. I think that it tells or it invites the collaboration between people that we've not had the luxury, the pleasure to see in the last few years. These collaboration, these relationship suggest that we can move forward and out of the spirit of division that has been there up to now. But again, people have a choice. They have the free will to not be reasonable on a reasonable constructive year. The other animals, you're going to ask me, what happens? My take is that if you're not part of those that have been named, do not worry. Align yourself with the spirit of the year. Do what you have to do. Go about your business, but introduce maybe a little more kindness, a little more collaborative spirit. Connect yourself with maybe your guardian angel, that fire energy, which I've not said enough earlier. Fire energy, it's also connected with the spiritual world. So we will see more push for spirituality and certainly more gurus, some of them more or less reliable than others. Dragon has the ability to differentiate between what holds water, what will last, and what is just another fake news or a wind that will not last. Don't worry. It is also said that if you are born the year of the dragon in a dragon year, or born the year of the rat, the year of the year of the rat, basically, if the animal of your year of birth is the same as the year that comes, that it's not that good. The reason is, I don't subscribe to that, but the reason this is being said is because too much of the same energy could create inertia. So two dragons next to each other, it's maybe a little bit more static than not. I usually say that when you are in your year, you have the time and the opportunity to reflect on what has been achieved, who you are, what your projects are, and consolidate your position. So welcome the dragon. To have two dragons instead of just one in a year like this may not be bad. I think I've said most of what I intended to say. Again, thanks to your question. In the commentaries, I will be able probably to do a second video to go deeper on some of the subject. But I think after the 4 years that we've gone through, having now a wooden dragon by our side is a good news. Let's not be scared. Be truthful to ourselves. And I can only wish you good wind in your sail. Do not hesitate to subscribe. So you will have more of those videos. But again, thank you for your time.